what do you think about the impact of a mother's love or lack of love has on her raising a son, in particular children, but in particular a son, in terms of the impacts it can have later on in his life?
Yeah, it's major, but that's also the same for a father. I think in particular mother is that emotional connection, grounding, nurturing. So you take those fundamental values and you learn that, and then you learn how to appreciate a woman, how to treat a woman. I have to throw something in there because obviously we were speaking last time about a pair that rents, so and how the system's kind of broken up the nuclear family, in the sense of like, you, as a mother, it's probably more desirable to be a single mother because of the financial support you could get, than have a man, a stand-up guy who kind of struggles financially, or like works financially to support your children. But it seems that the way it's set up is to kind of promote the idea of single motherhood. And I didn't really realize it until recently, when I was like, yo, even when a man tries to go for his child, it's such a battle. And why is that, when it should just be mother or father if one of you cannot look after, or if one of you wants to? But even when it comes to custody and these things, it always kind of sides on the mother side. And then in other fractions of society, women are like looked down on in other fractions. So that makes me know that this is a setup. So it's imperative that they have a balance of, I can't not look at them. I can't look at the mother and not look at her father. That's what I'm saying. So it's very important that a child has a mother, but it's also very important that the child has a father.
But do you think that the way a mother loves her son,
no,
what impact do you think that can?
I think what we're doing there is we're unconsciously judging the ability of a man to show up. So because men are not recognized as emotional beings, we, by saying that, to me that says that we can't give the same sense of love.
That's pretty slick still.
But it's interesting, because that is far from where I was going.
But
what I'm saying is interesting in how
you fully understand,
how it can can just easily cross, because sometimes that could be done intentionally by someone, or it's a subconscious.
It's not intentional, but I think
that's a part of the problem.
The intention is how it's fed. So we've been, as we said last time, there was something about, we didn't set the rules for the game. And so when we're saying the mother, I'm like, why don't we ever speak about the duality of parenting?
Ultimately,
so why is it always a mother or a father, when we should be thinking about a duality? And so for me, I could, now that I understand it from a traumatized childhood, and having a mother was amazing, but I still long for a father. And so the mother could be everything, but I can still get it wrong, because I haven't got the balance of masculine and feminine in a kind of way where they're both complete and they're bringing their complete selves to me. And that's what, for me, I can't answer it just based on the mother, unless I have.
So let me get yours, and when I explain my answer, you'll get where I'm going. But go on.
I suppose I can only use me as an example. I wasn't raised, so I was raised mostly around women. So the way my nan was, in regards to her daughter, was a thing of where it was like a hard love, not necessarily like lovey-dovey hugs and kisses and stuff like that, because that's not something that I really got. As a child, probably yes, but coming from that point, I don't remember receiving it in that way. So I realised that on top of whatever pain I had felt in regards to females that I was dealing with, that added on to how I started to operate in my adult life. So I found myself moving somewhat like how my mum would operate. What I realized was that when I started fucking up in certain places, I started to recognize that I had allowed the teaching or the lack of love received on top of the pain that was being caused from females that I was dealing with to turn me kind of cold-blooded. So I realized that had happened. And once I had realized that, and I was in a position to where I was out of a relationship, I realized that at that point, that's what I needed. So I had to consciously reprogram myself. Now, don't get me wrong, there was moments with certain females that I knew that I was capable of giving that love. So I always knew that it was in me, but it just depended on who it was.
And the connection you have.
Yeah. Right. So when a guy is not a certain way for a female, that's because it's not her. She's not capable of bringing that side out of him. Doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means that it's not her. This is why I don't believe in people being together forever, or
there being one person for everyone.
Or there being one person for everyone. I feel like it's a process of growing, and certain people can unlock certain things, you know. But I do definitely think that it does depend on the love you receive on top of whatever experiences you've gone through, and you being able to not allow them situations to dictate how you turn out. So, yeah.
Right, so my I definitely think it has a big impact. Can, will, does, all of that. But to kind of, I don't know if I say answer, but to make sense of why I didn't, and why I isolated it to the mother, because there was actually a purpose for that. Because obviously I could flip it and say a father to a daughter as well. But I've separated it on purpose, because I think as much as we can all operate as human beings and have a similar tendency to do things in terms of our minds, there's still a lot of differences between the way that females and males can react to things as well. And what I've been looking at, because just a lot of things that I've seen posted online, or just I'm one of those people that I do observe people and characters in it. And I think that, you know, that saying that we tend to go for people that are either like our parents or completely opposite, because you either go for something that they've had that's beneficial, that you've gained and you've enjoyed their experience, or you're looking for something you've lacked, generally speaking. And that's definitely vice versa. But I think the way that a woman, and I'm not when I say a woman raises her son, I don't mean whether that's irrelevant whether the dad is or isn't there, just her as a being, whatever her part of that is, that raising does have an impact. Because you could have, as you said, you can have two parents and the dad's doing the thing of raising him to show him certain things and still shows him love and embraces him. But if the mum doesn't do it, that's still her half, that's still going to affect him. If the dad doesn't do it, it's going to affect them, but it affects them individually. And for me, I find that, like Ant was saying, if he's not receiving that love that he feels he's deserving of, or was required, that's going to show later on. The cracks are going to fall when he starts dating people, when he's around and makes friendship circles, and whatever's craved is gonna be looked for. But sometimes I think people in general as well, but guys, you look for it in the wrong places, if that makes sense. So it could be you're not shown love, so the minute that there's affection shown, you kind of embrace it, but there's knowing the difference between affection and love, and they can be very separate, because one can just remain physical. Do you know what I mean? And then again, when you have your children, how you then teach and embrace or react to your children. And like you were saying with the tough love thing, you either kind of carry on that chain or you break it, because you know the impact that it's had. But then you have to look at it from your own life and maybe what surrounds you to then see the damage or the goodness that is brought into that world. But as I was saying, with when, like, for me being a mother, I'm super conscious of certain things, and it's like I can say it, I never used to think it, but there's times I just think, oh my gosh, my son's a mummy's boy. And then when he's dad, I'm like, okay, maybe not. Maybe. But it's almost like he's got the best of both worlds. When he is around me, he is that way. He is very loving. He is very attached. And there's times where I've realised that as the days go by, I'm thinking, well, I'm really not like... And it reminded me of one of the shoes you told me, Ants, and I'm that person that will pat you on the back and go there. And I thought, oh my God, is that me? Like, he was crying for something the other day, or he was just hugging me, and I was like, okay, cool, okay, get off me now. And I was like, whoa.
Was crying, yeah. T was come around.
No, it depends on why he's crying. And it clocked, and I thought, I need to be mindful of this, because I love him like endlessly. And if he said to me, can I have a hug? I'll give him a hug. If he asks me for a kiss, I'll give him a kiss. But that's just me as a person. Like, I don't like to be overly embraced unless I'm happy for it to happen. So if you come and kind of give me a barrage of hugs for, like, I'm like, okay, God, this is okay. What are we doing here? Like, and that's anybody.
Yeah.
But I have to realize that I can't treat my children like just anybody. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want him ever feeling like, oh, well, I used to try and give my mum hugs, yeah, and then my mum was like, there's a limit, like, all right, cool, too, but that's enough for the day. I don't want him to grow up with feeling like my love for him is limited or blocked off, because that will, I believe, will impact on him later on.
What we need to do is get better at speaking about this stuff. So
100%, we need to normalise that.
Reaffirming what love is, because I don't know, me, myself, and I don't know many other people, what the proper model of love was growing up.
You only know
because it was never explained, like, my love is this, this, and this. Until I got into care, and then she started sitting us down. It's like, love is not just about like hugs and kisses. Love's about that resilience and seeing you through a journey and enjoying you grow and allowing you to be free, and then speaking on things.
Remember that video where I said, love is what you know and what you don't know.
Yep.
You see that part? Love is what you know and what you don't know.
But for those who... How do people who are not going to get that?
I have never, ever, ever heard anyone explain it like that. That's why I said what I said. Because a person can't tell me that they love me and give the European standard of what that is, because that isn't it. That, like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That shouldn't be an alien form of thinking.
That's the problem.
But it really is.
Because we don't consciously make the effort to sit down and explain, because we don't know ourselves.
But
so we need to, like, even if you're saying to yourself, like, well, I actually don't know, but kids, we're gonna go on a journey of, let's discover what love is, right? And let's do things. What do we think love is? All right, cool. Is love a feeling? Is love an energy? What is it?